by this time, the way we provide the protein food to the human consumption, even to the commercial or farm animal, is unsustainable way. They have to consume a lot of energy and occupy the land and cause a zero destroy of the forest and they consume a lot of fresh water, as mentioned by some audience this afternoon. So, there's any other way to improve the efficiency to get the protein food for human consumption and even for the animals? So, when maybe 20 years ago, I finished, more than 20 years ago, I finished my PhD program, and my major is a microbiologist. And I stayed in Hong Kong, in the Hong Kong Polytechnic University for almost 80 years. But by that time, I just do one thing, to use the microorganisms to digest the solid waste, such as food waste, and the exist active sludge from the wastewater treatment plant. By that time, when I got my PhD and went back to China, I never continued to this research. Because by that time I found that we published a lot of paper. My supervisor called a lot of PhD, we call it 师兄师弟 in Chinese. But till now, in Hong Kong, my colleague cannot to treat 1 ton of food waste, but to publish a lot of paper. Why? Why? What happened? But sometimes we have discussion with my colleague in the South China University. We mentioned that. We found that if we use microorganisms as a tool to treat or to manage the solid waste, we just to digest the high molecules, such as protein and starch and lipids, to the low molecules materials, such as methane, carbon dioxide. We use a lot of money, take a lot of time to do this. Why? Why don't we just to transfer the use some useful tool to transfer the protein to another protein, to transfer the starch to another starch or the lipids to another lipid can be reused by the humans instead of to digest them to the small molecules such as methane and the carbon dioxide. When we got it, we just found enough tools. Microorganisms cannot do this job. But if we combine the microorganisms and the insects, we call it the sourcings or edible insects, they can do the same. Meanwhile, we found the meanwhile, like social fly, even the housefly larvae can do this. They just use the organic waste and they convert the high molecular material to another type of high molecular. Insect protein, insect fat, even insect separate. Okay, so this is our solution to just to convert the food waste or the byproducts of the food process to be the insect protein and the insect lipids. The insect protein and the insect could be used as the alternative of the fish meal and the soybean meal to feed our animals. Even could be consumed by the human being directly. So, In January 2023, the journal Science published 2 articles in the law that using insect as a sustenance for human and animal that grow highly prevalent. This is the topic of these 2 papers: human consumption of insects and the insects as feed for livestock production. This published in 2023, but even more than 10 years ago, we found this way. And when we start to do this research, no one understands, no one supports us, but we insist. And 10 years later, all around the world, all the academies and even the industry accept the concept. In China, even in the China government, in the how to say that? Agriculture, the Department of Agriculture?
Rural Affairs.
Okay. They accept this idea just to use one of the insects, we call the black switch fly larva, to treat the manure of the chicken manure, even the pig manure or cow manure, to convert to the insect protein. And of course, if we just use the waste food to feed the larva, we got this larva, and the dry larva could be used directly as a feed protein, as an alternative to fish meal and to soybean meal. Maybe, so here I have to mention that because we have a good relationship between 2 countries. In China, maybe you know, maybe not, we have to import 100 tons, or 100 million tons, okay, of soybean from other countries. 7 years ago, most of them from the US and the Ukraine and even Russia and Brazil. But as you know, the conflict between the Ukraine and Russia caused the decrease of the production of soybean, and the relationship between US and China, the situation caused that there is no reliable supply of the soybean from the overseas to China. So we have to find a new source of protein to feed our animal and even to feed our people. Insects will be another choice. Okay, so here is a picture showed that this mealworm, this mealworm could be it's not in China. It's in the Netherlands, in the Europe, or even these birds in the market. We can buy it and cook it for the human consumption directly. But in China, maybe you and 2 professors has invited you to visit our university, right? But if you get there, I will invite you to taste the insect meal. It will be unforgettable. Okay, and here is the cricket pasta. Actually, in the world, there are a wide variety of edible insects. As I mentioned here, I will not read one by one. And edible insects are widespread around the world. As I mentioned here, I don't know, many tropical and subtropical countries, Zimbabwe, Mexico, Thailand, are known insect area, including parts of Japan, China, and even Korea. I don't know what the situation is, including Pakistan. In China, there's some place or some province has a tradition to eat the insect, such as in the Xinan, south, southwest, southern province, for example, Yunnan province. There was a professor gave us a presentation this morning from Yunnan province and the Guangxi province, and even in the Jiangsu province. I remember this professor mentioned that he stayed in Nanjing for Nanjing Agricultural University for 2 years. But in Jiangsu province, in the north of Jiangsu province, the people have a tradition to eat a larva of mouse. I will show you later. Here is the usually 18 insects. I don't know. Anyone know all about them? Huh? Crick, right? Mealworm, bee, fly, housefly, maybe. What's that? There's a lot. Oh, there's a lot because I'm the microbiologist. Okay. As a locust. Locust. Okay. It's mentioned that if you eat the locust or fried locust, it tastes just like shrimp. It smells like shrimp. There's a common insect species, the yellow mealworm, and the Greek galero. There's a mouse, the larva mouse. Then it's a mealworm. Okay. Here is shown the protein content of insects of different orders as follows, and it mentioned that the content of protein, or even the fat, is equal to the meat we consume. That's like the chicken meat, beef, and so on. It's compared average protein content in insects, reptile, fish, and the mammal. It means that if the farm animal or even the people consume or eat the insect as a protein source for our as a nutrient source, there's no big difference for the protein content, even the profile of the amino acid of the proteins. Here is the insect protein, the high quality protein. Amino acid profile is close to the meat, and they have a vulnerable amino acid distribution similar to the soybean meal and the fish meal. These are normally used for the protein source of the feed. The third part is black soldier fly and other insects. Here is a black soldier fly. Hemias illusions is a true fly of the family of striated mirrors. Black soldier fly are reported as feeding on an emerging variety of organic material such as manure, rice straw, food waste, distiners, grains, fecus, large animal offer, kitchen waste, and so on, and all the agricultural byproducts and food processing byproducts such as pumpkin meal. I want to ask, is there any pumpkin tree here? In your pumpkin? Pumpkin meal or pumpkin oil or pumpkin tree to extract the pumpkin oil. Pumpkin fruit. We can extract the oil from pumpkin fruit. After that, the residue will come to pumpkin meal. Maybe the Indonesia and Malaysia is a big different country in that. But almost 900 and even 10,000 million tons, right? 900万哦，900万，900万多少？10 million. Okay, 10 million tons of pumpkin meal could be used to feed PKM. And when we visited there, and we just walking along the site of the roadside that is the pumpkin meal that produced by the pumpkin oil extraction factory. You can easily find this lava. They just live there everywhere. So pumpkin meal will be ideal raw material to feed the black soldier fly lava. This is the whole life cycle of the BSF. It's almost 45 days for the whole life cycle. They are four stages, adult, mating, and eggs, and the larva to pupa, and the pupa, and the adult. All the stages last for 45 days. And we just use this stage, the larva stage, to feed the waste food of organic waste with high content of protein and the lipids, and maintained only 10 days for one batch. And then we harvest the pupa, the pupa or the larva, and dry them, even we brandy them, and then to feed the fishy shrimp, even the chicken directly. They love it very much, especially the chicken, including the laying hen or broiler. And of course, the most important is they can save the money for the finished feed. Here is nutrition and the chemical composition. High protein, high fat, and the chitin. The chitin could be used as antimicrobial resource. So if we feed the chicken with the larva of the BS, the chicken will be grows faster and more healthy. And my colleague published a paper that is attached or with the virus, attack with the virus to the chicken, and then to feed. During that attack, the experiment to feed the larva of the BSF, it decrease the disease happening to the chicken. This is nutrition and chemical composition. Okay, there is a profile of the amino acid, and compared with other source of the protein. It is a high sustainable way. Here is the efficiency of a black soldier fly, annual land feed, and the water usage, water consumption of cattle, swine, poultry, and the black soldier fly. Here is the black soldier fly. The column is a different, is a blue, right? It stands for the land occupied, and the feed consumed, and the water consumption. The feed for a cow, for pigs, for chickens, and for the black soldier fly to produce 1 kilo or the same amount of protein. So maybe we can easily get the results, right? To rearing insects, to go to the protein instead of the traditional husbandry will be more sustainable. This is the whole process. We increase or we create the how to use different solid waste to feed the PSF. Here is using this food waste, and here is just use the manure from chicken farm. That the table indicates that the raw material could be used for rearing the black soldier fly larva, the food waste, mushroom, even the mushroom root waste, chicken mesh, and others. Okay, this just use a different raw material to fix the larva, the larva, the nutrient composition, good protein, fat, and calcium. I have to mention that, I have to emphasize that the larva of the BSF has a high content of calcium. You know, calcium is very important to chicken or even to cows. And we call it the organic calcium. Here is the BSF function study. This study carried out by our team. It published in 2023. Okay, 2022, 2021. In this research, we just proved that the common antibiotics used during the animal rearing, tyrosine and fluoxetine, will fix the serious residue in the manure of the animals. If we use the black switch fly to treat the manure with the residue of the tyrosine and fluoxetine, we found the two antibiotics could be digested or just disappeared, and more than 20, more than 80 or 50 or 80%. And meanwhile, we found there's no resistance or accumulated in the body of the larva of the antibiotics. Of course, and the last stage, if we have to do some experiment to just prove that BSF larva could be replaced in the normal feed, normal protein feed such as soybean meal and fish meal, and chickens, cattle, and shrimp, and the fish. We did a lot of experiment, and so this except to have been used for the manufacturing of shrimp feed and chicken feed in China, even in Europe. Okay, the forecast of black soldier fly, the market demand. This from 2020 to 2030. There's about 3.4 billion around the world, and with calculate the compound annual growth rate about 65.7%, and the price and the market demand in China as today. The fresh larva of the BSF, the $3,000 per ton. One ton equal to 1,000 kg. And the dried larva, if dried with a microwave oven, it will be 2,800 to 2,800 and 3,300 US dollar. For if you use the hot air to dry it, the price is 1,100 to 1,300 US dollar. And the China market demand about 60,000 tons per year. Okay. In fact, there's one company called Tongwei in China. They give our order is to 20,000 tons of the dry larva a year, but we cannot produce so much of larva. So we have to enhance the productivity. Okay, as soon as possible to meet demand of the feed manufacturing in China. I thought that this is just a beginning. The annual demand growth will be 50% or more. This is a top 10 company in practice fly, and appeared within 10 years, from 2014. And America is an American company. It was invested by the Darling Company in the U.S. It's the biggest one of the feed company, and the fly tab and the proteins. This company is established in the Netherlands, and the Bio14 is a company established in 2014, and I'm the founder of this company. Okay. And on the other hand, not only the BSF, but also the yellow mealworm, and the carnivorous chip pets will be produced in China. This one, I don't know. Anyone know this one? Yeah. This pest exists in the soybean land, soybean field. They just eat the leaves of the soybean. This is the release in the Jiangsu province, in the north part of the Jiangsu province. So if you have the opportunity to read the Jiangsu province, you should ask them to provide this tasting. Cricket, okay, grasshopper and locust. And the fourth part of I will introduce the IMD and the master break of BSF in Scott in my team. And here is we just do two things. Introductionize. When we start to use BSF to treat the organic waste, such as food waste and wastewater treatment, is sludge, we just focus to three things. One of them is how to introduce the fly of the BSF to lay an egg in one place and collect. Before that, they may be laying eggs everywhere. We cannot collect them. We have to develop this new technology, never existed in the world, to attract them and let them to lay an egg in one place. Maybe we have to spend 1.5 years to find a smarter way to collect them and teach them to lay an egg in the one place. And then we just using the greenhouse as the producing house instead of the camps. By that time, we can produce the eggs to 1 kilo in one area with 100 square meter. Before that, only 1 gram eggs can be produced in the college. So this is the first step if you want to introductionizing the larva rearing, mass rearing. And the second one, we have to develop a new way how to rearing the larva. You can imagine millions of the larva together without any disease happened. Because any disease happened. Okay, this is the second thing. And the third thing is that when we collect tons of the larva, who will buy it? Who will pay money to buy it? So we have to do a serious experiment. We ask the animal nutritionist for chicken feed, agriculture feed, and other animals nutritionists to cooperate with us. We just to provide tons of the larva to let them do some experiments to prove that BSF larva could be the ideal alternative to fish meal and soybean meal in the normal feed. This experiment cost almost 2 years. Finally, a company with an innovation strength to accept it This company is in Shenzhen. You know, all the Chinese know Shenzhen is innovation city. This is a heaven for the startup of the entrepreneur. So this company is in Shenzhen. They do the 2 years. They do the experiment for 2 years and to replace partially or the fully of the fish meal from the shrimp feed with the blackfish plant. They give us the first order is 100 tons of dry lard. Okay, when we get this order, we know that we succeed. There's 3 things we have to do. Okay, here is the new research unpublished. Just use the pumpkin meal to feed a larva. Here is data. Here is a rearing processing of the commercial BSF larva. The food waste collected, we have to grind it, and then we have to add the starch with beneficial microorganisms such as lactobacillus or Bacillus subtilis, and even the yeast to maintain the nutrition in the waste. And then on the other hand, we can bring to kill all the pathogens maybe exist in the waste. Okay. In the same time, the eggs of the larva hatched, and for 3 or 4 days necessary stage until inoculate to the ferment the waste. And after 10 to 50 days, you can harvest to get BSF larva, and the fresh, we call it the fertilizer or the mealworm fertilizer, or meal compost. It will be an idea compost to plant or cropping cropping the plant, even the fruit. Here is a breeding center in the university, in South China University. As you know, this is the adult that landing on the leaves and the mating and the laying eggs. Here is the larva. Okay. These are research center, and has been introduced by the CCTV. Here is a breeding center in Binyang, the Guangxi province. In this center can produce 5 to 10 kilos per day of eggs of BSF egg. And in this area, there's 5,000 square meters for larva mass rearing. It can produce 4 to 5 tons of fresh larva every day. This is in the Jiangxi province. It's a 3,000 square meter for larva rearing. We just use the food waste to feed the larva. Here is in Guizhou province, Zhengyi city. This about 12,000 square meter. In these centers can produce almost 300 tons of fresh larva and 80 tons of the dry larva per month. And it means that we just treat about 3,000 tons or 3,000 tons or 4,500 tons of the food waste per month. Here is the downstream processing equipment. It's a microwave oven and hot air drying. Here's our products. I can show you. It is a microwave dried BSF larva. Okay, crude protein with the content about 30 to 40%, good fat, 15 to 30% rich in fatty acids such as laric acid. You know, laric acid can kill some virus with venom. Okay, rich in laric acid. There is air dried BSF lava. That is effect BSF meal. Here is slurry. Here is BSF oil. It's a BSF fresh, we call it fertilizer. It's the other products. This microwave BSF will export to the US. Then here's the 1, 2, 3. There's 4 brand of the OEM. To the 4 brand of the products they sell this back on Amazon. The commercial. The people order it and buy it to just feed their backyard chicken or their pets. I have to mention that the dousan, okay, I said this one, okay. We just use the 葛叶, another permanent leaf to replace the soybean leaf. We found that 葛叶, the permanent leaf, will be more ideal to feed the dousan. Okay, let me summarize. Green industry of the insect farming can create sustainable source of protein for human consumption and animal feed. Compared to conventional meat, eggs, and milk, eating insect protein is more affordable. And thank you.
Thank you for nice presentation. Thank you for nice presentation.